running the event, like contracting with the companies and stuff like that. You can call me Captain. I have a decent amount of certs. I'm a cert whore like him. If the company pays for it, I'll get it. So I have like MCSEs and CNPs that I don't use anymore. I've worked in these fields: consulting, manufacturing, auto industry, and I currently work in healthcare. I'm an information security engineer. And like I said, I founded Gurkon with Chris. I also, a little joke here, I put a different logo on the bottom here. It's actually, since there's enough marketing here about Gurkon, I'm actually starting up a site called securityconferences.org. It's just in the beginning phase. It has a listing of all the security conferences coming up so people can view them, making it easier instead of having to search all around for conferences in your area. So what do I love to do? I love to hack, break into shit. This is Metasploit on an iPhone. So why are we here? Is it because of these guys, the hackers, or these guys, CEOs that are failing? Aaron Barr.
That's great.
George Friedman, Strat4 founder. Or this guy. This is previous CEO of Sony, who effectively stepped down after all the Sony stuff going on, obviously. So first, I want to give my props out to the evil guys. As you'll see in this presentation, I think they're changing the industry, and they're making it better for information security professionals in general. So, first off, has anyone practiced or seen a company practice information assurance? Probably not. Very few. Okay. So we'll go into that a little bit too, and how the CEOs can protect. So why are we praising the bad guys, as you could say? They have raised our awareness in our industry to a whole nother level. You guys know this because you guys are in the industry, but every second you look online, it's hack this, the site's been DOSed, blah, blah, blah. So, and I see these articles on the front page of news sites, and you never saw that 10 years ago. We were, pushed to the side. No one cares about us. But now that everything's on the internet and people make most of their money online, now it's a big thing. So, so the CEO C-level awareness is at an all-time high. So CEOs are presenting at conferences about security, and they're talking about security, which has never been done before. Okay, and so can you say more jobs out of all this? For us as professionals, you'll see tons of jobs everywhere. If you're really good at what you do, you can get a job in security. So all this type of awareness is bringing on this. And people are starting to realize that hacking groups in general are good for security. Cyber security needs to be a top priority for CEOs. This was just a couple days ago, And CEOs are attending cybersecurity events. Like, since when would that happen? Would you see GE CEO attending a cybersecurity event? Probably not, but it's starting to be coming around in the future. So I would say, like, in 20 to 30 years from now, this would be commonplace for CEOs.
As a side note, Aaron Barr was actually at the last DEF CON. Of course,
Yes.
after
Yeah.
all this shit,
Yeah.
watch him lose in the 10,000 hacker pyramid.
Yeah. So as far as hacking, evil hackers, you would say, bad hackers. So you may not agree with their methods, and you may not want to do it for the lulz.
Bullshit. Thank you.
or enjoy cracking their password dumps. So that's or believe in their cause. So bottom line, you like that? Companies are being compromised, whether it's the bad guys or the good guys or who knows. And information is being released to the public. And as a CEO, you are the owner of all your information within your organization. So I'm not here to pick on any companies. CEOs need to evolve or die, or they will be the next target in security. So where does that bring us today? Let's start with the basics, straight from the source, Wikipedia. Basically, the whole point of the slide is I wanted to say that information assurance is the practice of both, not in digital, but analog and physical form of information security. So a lot of times as information security professionals, all we care about is securing the digital side. And we never take into account for, oh, look at the paper over there that has all the social security numbers on it. Or look at all the, the HR people talking by the water cooler about how there's massive layoffs coming. You know, that's stuff that as a security professional you always got to be thinking of, and that's what information assurance is all about. So physical form, who still writes, by the way? Spoken, like I said, water cooler, and digital, like my little flame malware. So these three forms of information encompass information assurance. So now you should know that information is power. If you control and secure all your information within your organization, then you'll, obviously your risk levels will be down, but we'll go over some of that. So current industry challenges. Organizations expect everyone to be rock stars. I listed out some of the skills you need. It's just the information security field. You like that? Look at all these areas, and so you're expected to know every single area and be an expert in every one. Well, it's impossible. You know what I mean? I could spend 80 hours a week being an awesome web app pen tester and not do all their stuff. So organizational structures are horrible. So this is an example of a company I work for. I was here, information security. I reported to the manager, director, VP of IT, global VP, group VP and controller, business unit president, and then CEO.
And let me guess, that each one of those boxes represented like one person?
Yeah. So to communicate a message across to any one of these guys, well, if I talk to the architecture manager, well, he needs to talk to his boss before anything's okay. Well, then he needs to talk to them. And maybe these guys meet once a week. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks before you actually get a decision. And the same thing here. Information security manager, director of security, VP of IT, CIO, CFO, CEO. So we're buried in IT. Current state, I would say, anyone want to say, does anyone not report to IT? Where do you report?
We report this, yeah, but there's an entire organization solely dedicated to IT security.
Okay.
Not IT.
Yeah.
The one over of the VP of security is the CEO of the company.
Okay, that's good. Yep. So let's go into a little bit of why it's bad to report to IT, and it's called value. So the CEO tells this guy, the CIO, to spend cash, and then on value. So for example, server farms, network storage equipment, network equipment, IP telephony, mobile computing, app development. So all these type of things are bringing value to organizations by purchasing them. not on mitigating risk. So for example, if you can anyone answer this question? If I give you $1 million budget for your company and you're the manager, how do you justify that to your management, to the CEO? How do you bring value?
Sand string.
No one can answer, okay. So can you say conflict of interest? Chuck Norris. You like that? Chuck Norris, attorney, and then I represent injured people.
Tears cure cancer.
Security typically gets the axe a lot of times. So here you got this $1 million budget in IT. Let's say 500,000 goes to network infrastructure, network equipment, IP, telephony, server farms, SANs, whatever you want. 250,000 goes to app development, web development, all these different areas. And then here you are in the security department saying, oh, pick me, I want a couple $100,000, but, well, I need to protect our infrastructure. I don't know why I need to spend $200,000, but I need to get a SIM, I need to get IDS, I need to do all this stuff, but, I don't know why. I don't. Yeah. So we also have communication barriers within our information security in general. Some companies don't even want you talking to the business. I've worked at a few companies where it's frowned upon as an IT security professional to actually talk to the business. This is a larger organization, Fortune 50, but basically they have business liaisons inside of IT that only talk to the business. So here as a security professional, you can't even talk to the business and learn how the business works. How are you supposed to protect it? You basically just do all IT security and hope, that you're covering all the bases. Oftentimes they don't even listen. So we know what happens with those companies. Finally, top-down is rare. Has anyone heard of the top-down approach to information security or information assurance? It's where the CEO actually cares and security actually security actually flows down the organization instead of up. Picture that 7 jobs, before the CEO. Imagine me at the bottom, and I'm trying to push security all the way up. As me, I only have so much influence up the organization, maybe to the second or third level of that. So.
What happens after you get hacked?
Yes, exactly.
You're fired.
Yeah, then you're fired. Then.
That's why it's
One of those resume generating events.
Yes, resume generating event. Yeah, RG. So where do we go from here? We evolve, even if the CEO doesn't want to. Sometimes this is tough. Sometimes this is a matter of having to find a better opportunity. We'll go on from there, but so we drive IA into the business, information assurance. So we start learning the business, becoming involved in projects, becoming part of the main core of the business. So here is my approach to information assurance with 3 core security groups. Information assurance should report to the CEO. So why? Who cares about security as a CEO, right? They don't care about ODay. They don't care about Flame. They don't care about malware. The CEO and the board of directors in an organization set acceptable risk levels for your organization. So as an information assurance professional, you must find the risks inside the organization and then bring that risk down to that acceptable level. So you're not going to go to the CEO and say, well, I mitigated this threat today by updating our AV, no. Yeah, AV. AV is worthless, so yeah. But these guys have the power to say, this is what level we're okay with. Anything above this level, we need to spend money or put controls into place that will reduce the risk to that level. And at that point, whether it's a CISO or whatever position they give you title-wise, you now have the power to go in and put security controls in place on behalf of the business and make the organization more secure. So why has this not been done before? I asked everyone here, do you guys, have you guys seen an organization that practices information assurance, or do you work for one? We're protecting companies' most valuable assets, the information. I think I read a long time ago, it was a company can lose 75% of their employees and still survive. You can go and hire massive hiring, who cares? You might have a little bit of information loss, you'll still recover. But if you say you're a company and lose half or 75% of your information, well, you're screwed. You're out of business. If you're an insurance provider, if you're healthcare, if you're, let's say you're in manufacturing and you lost 75% of your CAD drawings and you can no longer manufacture, so the mindset of that needs to be in place. So why are we not equal with human resources, finance, legal, marketing, sales? Why aren't we at the round table? So main functions of information assurance to drive value. Information asset identification. Does anyone perform information asset identification or work for a company that someone else does this? And this is basically knowing how much value your information on your network is worth, knowing where it's all at, and assigning a risk level or priority to it. Does anyone do this? Like, for example, your HR data or anything like that? No. So this is important because you can't do proper risk management unless you don't know what value the information is worth. For example, if I'm spending $50,000 a year with an IDS or firewall on information that is just logging data that I don't even care about, then you're wasting tons of company money. So risk management is another function of information assurance. Projects, being in part of projects, teams, mergers and acquisitions, procurement, etc. So you're involved in the actual business part of it. You're there when a merger or acquisition happens, and you're dealing with the actual security of our information and of the company's information when they merge. Business continuity planning, something that I don't see happening very much when it comes to security, but the process of taking a business process in a system, let's say the HR hiring process. So when the HR hires someone, interviews, and starts paying a person, gets them all in there. So driving security in all those stages of the process. Another example would be, making widgets. For example, if you, let's say you make car parts. So we're in Detroit here. So I work for a company that made car parts. And so the business process would be getting the CAD drawings, making the plastic molding, going from each stage of the process until you get the finished product where you ship it out and get paid for it. So having that entire business process mapped and then having security at each layer is where business continuity planning comes in. And it's critical because then you can go to the CEO and say, I know we can make widgets, we have tons of contingency plans in place, and this is our business continuity plan for it. And that's what drives value in the organization. And security awareness, at that level, you have the power, reporting to the CEO, that you have the power to have information and security flow down in the organization. Enterprise security policy. So you set global security policy standards for the entire organization. These would be non-technical standards. You leave that up to other teams, I'll show you. Security governance. So these functions will help drive security into the business, along with justifying security expenditures via risk management. So here you are, you got, you can justify actually purchasing security equipment or putting controls in place. Information security. So first we had information assurance, and now we have information security group. Reports to the CIO. Incident handling. So these guys, the information security professionals, are probably all of us in the room. We're technical people that can do incident handling, vulnerability management. We advise to IT security, information assurance teams, trends. We may go to the developers and say, this is how you should secure your application, or this is how to do secure coding. Write IT security policies and procedures. Drive security into IT projects and enforce standards. Assist with compliance matters relating to, and this can be either way. I mean, you can have information assurance do some compliance, but this is more of the technical side, making sure your systems are compliant. Penetration testing, everyone knows this. Web application and network penetration. Management of IDS and IPS. And then finally, the IT security group. It reports to various management within IT. IT security mostly handles the operational aspects of security, including, it's based on your environment, but AV server management, malware scans and removal. So you wouldn't have, like, information security typically won't, in bigger organizations, won't do this. It's all separate. And so IT security will do most of this stuff. Then they report to different various units. Account provisioning, access management, firewall management, URL filtering, desktop and server patching. So we put it all together. And so here you got IT security. And you'll note that a lot of smaller organizations, like 100 people or less, you might have one security guy that does all this. And oftentimes, this security guy will not be able to do this and part of this because he's so busy with this. But this is more geared towards larger organizations that can afford a bigger security budget or have a CEO that is knowledgeable in information assurance. So IT security can report to any type of group. I've seen this report to help desk. I've seen infrastructure, Unix teams. They all have a security hat. Firewall admins report to network infrastructure usually. It's not usually a security function and we'll put ACLs and stuff in. Information security. This is just example job titles: InfoSec manager, VP of InfoSec, and there's the functions, and then information assurance, the CISO. So preparing for the future. We must change our mindset as information security professionals. I'm a firm believer that we can't just be pen testers and do all the cool shit. We gotta be in front of the business. It's fun to pop boxes, but you need to know risk management. You need to know the business side. You need to know how your company makes money. You need to be able to speak in front of everyone, go to meetings, learn how business processes work. Learn the business. Learn and communicate information assurance. You need to tell people about it. You need to tell people that you're assessing the risk of the business process or the application that they want to purchase. You have to stay current with security. So this is back to my previous point that you got to try to be a rock star in every category of security, but and that's why I'm proposing a three-tiered approach. But it's very difficult to be awesome at information assurance and risk management, but then be able to hack for a living. You know what I mean? So this whole slide is all about, if you're an information security professional or IT security professional, always stay current with current topics. And don't be afraid to communicate with the business. I see a lot of people that will not talk to anyone else. They would love it if they can just sit in front of the computer in their cubicle, 9 to 5, go home and not talk to anyone, you know. Polish off your soft skills. Learn how to write emails, learn how to talk to people, learn how to communicate. So in conclusion, the hackers are forcing the CEOs of the world to evolve or die. And information assurance will be the way of the future. So prepare yourself, or your company will be the next. So, any questions? Yep.
Yeah, have you been able to get any information from some, I mean, obviously it's going to be difficult, but information from companies or comparable companies that are dealing with these types of situations to see how it may have affected their organizational behavior?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have any context in like a lot of these, but I know it's usually drastic. Like,
Right, no.
yeah.
And like I said, I've seen.
Yeah,
I've been
it's
first
like-
hands for a couple of those, right?
Okay, yeah.
Right before you walk out the door for that nice new job, right?
Yeah.
You see the impact on the organization. I was just wondering if you saw any research out there that's seen where these large-scale breaches have affected the organizational behavior.
Yeah, unfortunately,
Sony didn't have a CSO until after they got breached, right? Sony hired a CSO
Yeah.
after they got breached,
Yeah.
which is awesome planning, obviously.
No, right.
Yeah.
No, and that's what I'm just curious. I like your map, right? And
Yes,
I'd
yep.
love to see the before and after maps of some of the.
Yes,
some of
yes,
these
that'd be
places.
nice, yeah.
Right? I mean, there's some big companies local that have just exploded in the
Yeah.
intrusion analysis and, space, because guess what? They're in the house, guys, and now you need to know where they're moving and what they're doing, and it's changed their entire, organizational structure. And like I said, I liked your map, and I'd like to see like the before and after.
Yeah, yeah.
I think that would be interesting to see.
Yeah, like you said, people will change drastically, and what I'm finding out, is as more and more of this stuff happens, I think in the future years coming, we're going to see a lot of this,
Yeah.
where organizations will proactively change. I mean,
I think there's some DHS research being done to assess the impact of structural changes on the handling of incidents and
okay,
compromise.
I haven't seen that yet. I don't know.
It's not done.
It's not done yet.
The PA is up, but I don't think the work is complete.
Okay.
Do we know if Sony's really made a change internally? Because at the end of the day, we sit back and look now, they got tons of press on it, tons of attention. Did they really suffer from what happened?
Yeah, a lot of people say that it's actually a good thing because,
Like
I mean,
TJ Maxx, right?
yeah.
Stock went up after that.
stock went up, yeah. So the,
No bad publicity.
yeah, no bad publicity, yeah.
Even though, BP dumped how many tons of oil into the ocean, and they're
Yeah.
still doing great. Actually, they
I
turned
get
out to be
my
a great
gas from that.
investment at that point.
It is, it's gonna be great. I care about me.
That's right.
Yeah, so,
Go green.
yeah, it can, I see it negatively impacting some organizations, obviously. Like if you're healthcare or something
Well,
where
you're
you,
HB Gary. I mean,
yeah, yeah,
that-
yeah.
That's an example of it going really sideways. But I really don't think Sony suffered from it.
Yeah, yeah.
Was that because of their sheer size?
Size,
And-
yeah. And
Although
how
I
they,
blame a lot of the users. So after the Sony rootkit incident, I banned Sony equipment from my house because they just
Yeah.
terrified me. But
so that's, I mean, that's an impact. And,
Stay.
like people like you then will affect the bottom line eventually. And I mean, you might say, well, I don't see it going down, but over the long term, you may never purchase a Sony piece of equipment again. And then,
I'll never touch your equipment again. But I'm looking now. So of course when the whole Sony PlayStation thing went sideways, I was all like to my friends going, I'm so smart for not buying a Sony, and all they're going is, yeah, I wonder when the networks come back up so I can play again. They just
Yeah.
didn't care.
yeah,
It's quality product development outside of the security realm. I mean, if people still like the product, they'll probably still buy it until
Yeah.
enough things happen to convince them.
yeah. until they get affected or their friend gets affected, and then, you know, it might change their attitude.
Yeah, what did you know, if you got, you know, what ended up getting breached was just, what usernames, account numbers, some cases credit cards and all that, but then, you know, well,
Yeah,
if it's a credit card thing, I mean, I just had my card, somehow my card number got compromised, and, but, you know, fortunately, they had all the, you know, controls in place where they ended up I don't know how this
Well,
was
they
pretty
didn't have all
good.
the controls in place, but they got the number right.
Well, there's something, but this wasn't them, this wasn't the bank. The
I know,
bank,
I'm just-
the bank though rejected every illegitimate charge that was attempted and all that, and they notified me right away, and we took care of that. But I
Yeah.
mean, at the same time, they'll, you know, the banks will end up eating the the
Yeah.
fraudulent charges,
Yeah.
so.
Yeah, I talked to my like the friends who, you know, are on the Sony network, is like, hey, your credit card got stolen. Yeah, but do they still have my gamer score?
yeah, that's
It's
crazy.
just-
Yeah, some people don't care about security.
What's
is
it
it?
cost people when your credit card gets stolen? What, $50 max? I mean,
Yeah.
like, okay.
For the gamer
Yeah,
score,
that's
they
what-
invested
that's
hours into
more
that.
important.
They spend more time on that than $50 worth of their credit card.
Yeah.
Modern warfare is awesome.
Yeah.
It is.
So is the answer then to make people responsible when their credit card gets
Only if
stolen?
I can hold the company responsible for losing my credit card.
Yeah, right, so,
I mean, there is no one answer. If there was, none of us have a job, right? I like getting paid for doing this stuff. I don't want it to be easy.
Yeah.
You know, but I guess this comes back to the question is how did this affect Sony? And I guess in the short term, well, they took a little bit of
Yeah.
negative hit on the publicity, but then, just like you said, is there such a thing as bad publicity?
No, I mean, TJ Maxx stock went up, right, after their huge, like, 2-year breach, right? Just, nobody cares.
Yeah.
If you're Susie Homemaker, do you care that TJ Maxx got breached? No. You got a new credit card and you went back and bought more clothes.
Exactly.
Doesn't matter.
But you gotta admit that in that particular instance, like the Sony PlayStation Network, or whatever, that there's other, you know, Xbox.
You
Yeah.
didn't need PlayStation to go to Xbox because of that, I'm sorry.
Right. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
But
Maybe 4 idiots did, but you're not. You choose to choose that
It
you
gave
like
you an
it.
excuse to buy an Xbox.
Yes, exactly.
Let's be honest.
Yeah.
Justify it to the wife. Right? I need an
This
Xbox.
company's getting hacked. I gotta get something else.
All my accounts open available, let me go back. Not my vote.
I
Yeah.
guess, and thinking about it, it all depends on who gets, you know, who gets compromised and how it, you know, affects the end.
Yeah.
Now, if it's your bank that gets compromised and all of a sudden, you know, somehow thousands of dollars of your personal bank account,
Yeah.
money got leaked.
You get it back unless you're a
yeah, they're
business.
insured.
Yep.
Yeah, you get it back.
A business will get hammered, they won't get it back. But you personally, if I break into your bank and steal your money, you get it back. So there's still really no accountability.
But that is related to insurance, right? Or is that a federal law?
Like,
Well,
FDIC is a-
Yeah,
You
yeah.
have to go back to the FDIC to get.
Right,
Yeah.
you're responsible for $50, maybe it's nothing with that, but right, that's it.
Yeah. I don't know enough about
In
that.
a business, right, they lose their money like a zoo spot, right, they're just hosed, they're not a person.
Yeah.
That also assumes that the bank doesn't reject the charges outright. They are. You know, initially that the
Yeah.
transactions are spotted before they are.
And it takes a couple weeks to dispute, or I don't know.
Yeah,
No,
but
it's
you
a
still
night.
get but you still get all your money back, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
In the end,
sucks,
you don't
but-
care, I mean,
GRSEC, right, they stole my debit card at the bar, and I was buying beer, I didn't think it sucked, but, oh well, I still drink beer there. I do,
Yeah.
and she did the labor anyways.
So no impact still.
That's zero
That's
impact.
right.
Just taking a phone call, hey,
So
they
Dad's
got
not
my
changing
shit.
behavior. Right.
I didn't buy tickets to, or buy the insurance for the flight.
So any other questions, or?
I guess there might still be, you know, from the CEO's perspective, you know, they might think, you know, the negative publicity is bad.
Yeah.
But there's no way to
They're gonna get
quantify
fired.
reputation.
Yeah,
You
like-
quantify that risk.
Where I work, if we're in the news.
I know where you work. Right, you do a WAG, right?
Yeah,
That's how you
yeah.
quantify stuff you can't quantify, make it up.
So I mean, talk about some other organizations aside from Sony, right? Sony's a good example of a negative, like no impact. But what about if Stratfor or if it were, you know, a 3-letter agency or something like that?
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about a whole different kind of impact in that sort of a
Yeah.
situation when it's your job to do this realm of activity.
Yeah. Classified documents being released.
That
You
never
know.
happens.
Well, and some of those places have processes like this in place. Like 3-letter agencies kind of started with the information assurance thing.
Yep.
You know, but
Yet
the
their
impact-
employees still end up losing laptops.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that happens across the board.
Yeah.
Stupid people are always going to be a problem, right? It's you know.
But in my scenario, you know, you would say that,
The conference.
you'd have risk management in place where you say, okay, if I lost a laptop and it wasn't unencrypted, or it was unencrypted, then I would lose this information and it could be disclosed.
Yeah,
So
if
then
you
you
have
put
a
proper
understanding
controls in
of
place.
What
Yeah.
your loss is and what your impact is. I'm
Yeah.
not saying your idea is bad. I'm
Yeah.
saying like this discussion is healthier for the fact that there's serious value to other people who would be impacted. In Sony's case, nobody
Yeah.
cares, right?
Yeah.
The money comes back to everybody who lost it, and the people go on and play their next game when it comes out. But there are other people who are seriously affected by these incidents, and
Yeah.
a structural change would be very relevant for those people.
Yeah. Any other questions? Well, that's it.
Gurkhan.
Thank you.